In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 5 tactics that are going to help you in your next singles match. Now, tactics are different from strategies. Strategies is a game plan for the entire match, whereas a tactic is more of a specific routine for one particular shot or situation. These 5 tactics are going to help you get the edge over your opponent by picking up 1 to 2 key points whenever you need them. Let's get straight into it. The first tactic that we're going to get into is forcing the player to make a winner. The biggest killer of amateur players is that they make too many mistakes, and that goes for you and your opponent. In this tactic, if you're handing too many points over to your opponent, then this is for you. Essentially, imagine our 2 players are in a rally. In a cross-court rally, just like so. And they're just rallying back and forth like this. And here, you tend to try and do something like go too close to the line and you hit it out. Or you're trying to go down the line when you maybe shouldn't really be, or you're pushing into the net for whatever reason. It's important that you don't make these sort of extracurricular plays when you don't need to. If you keep getting into cross-court rallies, force them to make the winner. Force them to push you deep. Force them to go down the line if they really need to. Make them take the risk. Don't allow yourself to hit the mistake and then they have a 100% chance of winning because you hit it out. Because when you make a mistake, it's a 100% chance that they are going to win the point. But if they hit a winner, there's always that percentage that they're going to lose because that's just the nature of tennis. It's the nature of winners. You're going to sometimes miss it just a tiny bit long, okay? We're all human. And most amateur players don't know how to hit winners properly. They don't know that you have to do it with the correct spin. They don't know these things. So it's important that you force your opponent to make a winner. Now, if you want to do this really well, the easiest way to do it is whenever your opponent gets a good deep ball, every time that they get a good deep ball, the best thing that you can do to counteract this and to make their winner harder is to go as high as you can. Now, of course, we preferably want it to go deep. So we want it in here somewhere. But even if you get it in the service box. So if you're in a position where your opponent sets up the winner, okay, they hit a good shot for you, okay, it's deep, it's wide, whatever. Do not try and go and do a super beautiful shot down the line, whatever, that you keep missing. If you're able to hit those during the match, then sure, keep doing that, okay? This is not for you. But if you have tried, passing them when they're approaching, or if you've tried going nice and deep, like Novak when he gets pushed back, and it's not working for you, you keep making mistakes, you keep going out, the best thing that you can do is you can take the ball high and try and get it as deep as possible. It makes it more difficult for the opponent. It's easy, it's super safe on your side, and also you get time to recover back to wherever you need to be, whether that be on maybe the right side of the middle line, for example, if you were in a cross-court rally, so that you can force them to take the 50-50. They either go down here, back behind you, or they go cross-court. You come here in the middle of the 2 best shots, and you guess which way to go. You see pros do this all the time. They're guessing as soon as this person moves in, because that's the highest percentage play, is to make them hit the 50-50, because if you win the 50-50, right, then you get another chance. If you lose the 50-50, there's still a probably small, but still a non-0% chance that they're just going to miss the ball and hit it out. So it's super important that when you're getting pushed, when the opponent is approaching you or is hitting a good ball against you, force them to make the winner. Do not throw the point away just because they've hit a good shot and you feel under pressure. Make sure that they hit the winner so that you are still in the rally. Now, the next tactic is super nitty-gritty. So a lot of times when players approach the net, they make a ton of mistakes in this advantageous position. And this is why amateur players don't like approaching the net, because they don't really do it in practice and they make a ton of mistakes in the match. Let's say that my opponent is at the baseline. This is the middle line here. Let's draw a middle line, okay? And they've given me a short ball, all right, here, and I've approached it into the net, and I've tried to take it down the line like so, okay? I've moved in from here, I've hit this ball, and then I move into the court, and my opponent has made this run here. So they've picked up the ball, and now I get a volley. What a lot of players will do in their singles matches is when this player returns this ball across the net, this player will try and hit the ball deep on the volley over here. All right. Now, why is this a mistake? Well, I think now that you see the lines, you might be able to visualize why this might be a mistake. But imagine you're this player. What is scarier to you? Having a shot go here, land right here, or the second bounce land here? What's scarier to you? If I was this player, I would never want to have to run in for this sort of semi-drop shot right here. I would never want to have to go there. Because as soon as I hit this ball, I'm already going to be moving back towards the middle because, of course, I have to cover this area of the court, right? Now, as this player, you probably know that this person is going to go into the cross court because it's an easier volley on the forehand side. It's quite an easy volley. So you are going to be going cross court here. This player sort of knows that, and so they're going to be hustling. If I was them, if the first bounce is here and the second bounce is here, and the first bounce is here and the second bounce is here, I would never want to have to make this run. Look at the distance. You can see that the distance is so much further than this one here. It's also that he's only moving laterally up here and he's still in position. Because imagine that he gets this shot here, right? He's somehow able to make that dash and he gets the shot. Look, he's still on the baseline. He's still in position to move back and recover into the middle. Whereas if he runs to here, he is stranded completely because now he gives you this ball. He has to somehow cover this without getting wrong-footed, which is so easy at this short angle. So he's never even going to get here. As soon as you put the ball into the service box in singles with a volley, they're just going to stop. They're just going to give up. No one is going to try and make that run because it's so difficult. A lot of players, they try to take it deep, and what happens is they hit it out. They hit it long, and it's so frustrating because you have all of this court here. That's even better real estate than this baseline. And yet so many people try to push their volley long into that baseline. So when you are at the net, the tactic that we want to use is bouncing the ball in the service box, making it bounce first in the service box, playing it short. That way, your opponent is going to have a much harder time retrieving that ball. And if they do, they're out of position. They are out of the point. Now let's move on to the reverse situation. Let's say that our opponent is in the net and we are the ones getting attacked down here at the baseline. When your opponent is at the net like this, I sort of covered this in my last video, in the strategy video, and it's also sort of related to the first tip, but we want to make sure that we make him volley, make this guy volley. When we want to approach, we want to have a two-step approach shot. So let's say that my opponent hits an approach shot and it lands this area of the court, and now they're moving in to try and capitalize. If I'm this player, what I don't want to be doing is I don't want to be doing some crazy a la Nadal, a la Fognini, backhand down the line, because I'm not Fognini, I am not Nadal, and I'm probably going to miss that shot. There's a reason why these shots are on the highlight reels, because they're super difficult to hit. And also, because this person is going to be moving across, they're going to be happy to try and cover this down the line because they've pushed you across the court. So they're going to also move across because they know that your two best shots are somewhere in this vicinity here. And so they're pushing and putting themselves in the middle between those two best shots. If our opponent moves in like so, I want you to hit a shot that drills them, that makes them volley. Make sure that they have to volley. At the amateur level, no one knows how to volley properly, okay? That's just sort of how it is. Everyone misses their volleys for no reason, and especially under pressure in a singles match. Everyone misses. Now, when they don't miss, it's not normally a great shot. It can probably go somewhere over here, and if they do, then well played to them. That was a good volley, they made it work, fine. If you hit the ball directly at them, then they're also going to have a harder time. Instead, if you hit it to their racket out here, right? If you just give it to them here, then this is going to be easier. If you hit it straight at them, then they're going to have to move around the volley and try and get it in that way. So if you hit it straight at them, and they hit a good volley over here, fine. But most of the time what's going to happen is they're going to put a ball somewhere in this area here. And now is our opportunity to strike. We can use any of this area with a weapon, so we can try and run around our forehand if we need to, if we have time, or step in with the backhand, and then we have a go at taking an angle. Because if you imagine, if we move in to the court like so, we no longer have these angles here, but we still have a good amount of angle. All right, we could probably take this ball from here and from here. This is pretty reasonable to be able to hit these shots at the service line. So this player now is clueless. They don't know what the hell they're going to do because they've put themselves in such a precarious position. Now, if you want to know the dominant strategy for this position here, you'll have to check out the Skool. If you're in my school, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But essentially, this position here is super unfavorable, especially at the amateur level. Oh my God, if you know the strategy I'm talking about, this means point over. Go check out the Skool link in the description. There's a full strategy course in there. If you want to know how to win every single time from this position as an amateur player, go check that out. But that is essentially the tactic that we are running over today, is make them volley. Because most of the time, they're just going to hit it straight into the net. They're just going to miss 30 to 40% of the time. And then the other 30, 40%, they're going to give you an easy ball. And then the other 20%, they're going to get a good shot. And these are the high percentages that we want to be playing. If you take this, you probably have a 20% chance of making that. So we've just extended our chances from, at minimum, we've increased them by 10 to 20%. And at most, 40%. So this is why you need to understand these tactics and these strategies before you move into your match. Because you want to be hitting and winning 60% of your points, not 20. The next tactic is a tactic that Novak uses. And I didn't find this out through him, I found this out the hard way. Now in this tactic, this serve plus one tactic, I remember when it was happening to me, this guy that I was playing, he was an 8 UTR, and I was warming up with him, and he didn't seem that good. I was like, oh, this seems like an easy win. Then his serve, we started serving, and I'm like, oh, okay, we've got a bit of a serve bot happening. And then it was his service game. The first thing that he does to me, remember, this is my backhand side. The first point of the match, he does this massive kick serve all the way to my backhand, and I'm like, this is how he's 8 UTR, right? This is why I'm playing him. He did this all match. Every time that I was in this backhand corner, he did this every single time. Until I literally put myself over here, until I literally put myself in this corner here, far back to make sure that I was getting the point, getting this backhand. And then, I mean, you can guess what he did. He just went down the line. It felt impossible to return this guy because of this tactic right here. So, how does it work? You need to know how to kick serve. That's the first thing. But essentially how this tactic works is whenever you're on the opponent's backhand side, you want to be kicking the ball into their backhand. Because everyone knows that high backhands are so hard to hit with interest or to hit well. So as soon as you get the ball here and high, you are allowing yourself an easy free ball into the middle here. And then from here, you move in. And because if you're able to do this tactic, you're going to be doing it a lot, you pretty much do 50-50 between this open court here or back down behind them. You keep choosing one, so if you keep going inside out forehand here, which is the best way to do it, right? If you keep going inside out forehand to their backhand, well then they're just going to sit over here in the backhand. So obviously you're going to then have to take it into the open court. But the way you set it up is having a kick serve to the backhand. It's so dominant. It's so hard to beat. And especially at the amateur level. Because at the pros, they can read it, they can start moving. Amateurs don't know how to read serves. I don't know how to read serves that well. And this guy was hiding it really well. So as soon as you start doing this, and then they move across because they know that you're going to kick serve to their backhand, guess what you're going to do? You're just going to go down the line flat, and then you're just going to keep acing them, until they finally move back, because they have to be honest about this shot here, right? And then you just keep kicking to their backhand. Now obviously you're going to switch it up. But whenever you are in a pressure point, a point that you feel like I really should win this is the serve that you're going to do. If you're able to do it, you're just going to kick it to their backhand. It's so difficult, especially on hard court. Use this, use this, use this. Now the final tactic I'm going to go over in this video is one that I probably shouldn't be saying because it does two things. It makes this person very mad, and it will also make you very mad if you don't do it correctly. And that tactic is drop shots. Now, I know it's not really a tactic, it's a shot. But to be fair, the drop shot is strategically so difficult to manage. So many amateur players try to do drop shots and they always miss them. It always goes into the net. Everyone misses their drop shots. So before you do this, you need to intentionally practice your drop shots from the rally position. But I'm going to quickly show you the easiest way that you can implement a drop shot in your match that is also the same way that Carlos Alcaraz has started revolutionizing the drop shot in the pro scene today. And that is, as soon as you get a short ball to your forehand, you get the short ball here, and you've been hitting some nice, deep cross-court shots from this position here. Really deep, this opponent is preparing by moving back, and almost sometimes they even start taking a step over. They might be here. What you're going to do is, now that they've moved back off the baseline, they're getting ready to run for a ball, you are going to do a forehand drop shot into the box here. Now the forehand drop shot is a bit of a difficult shot because not many people have practiced it. Essentially how you want to do it is you want to set the forehand up like so, be ready, look like you're winding something up, and then cut it just at the last second, so you're disguising it, and so your opponent is super sold on the fact that it's going over here. If you're able to actually get this into the court, your opponent's just going to give up, especially at the amateur level. No one's actually running for that. They're going to be like, okay, good stuff. Like, that's how it is. And what happens is that as soon as you do one of these, well, you win 1 point. That's pretty good. But as soon as you do that, this player, every time that you are hitting a short ball on the forehand, this is going to be in their mind. This, every single time, they're going to be thinking, what if he drop shots? What if he drop shots? What if he drop shots? So what they're not going to do is they're not going to fully hard commit to moving into this cross-court position, moving back off the baseline. They're not going to hard commit the same way because they know that if they do, it's possible that you hit a drop shot. Now, I'm not saying that you should. In my opinion, as soon as you've hit one drop shot and it's landed in, you shouldn't go for any more if you're an amateur. Just don't go for any more. You've got your drop shot, you got your point, and now you're in this person's head. They are now thinking about your drop shot. They think, I need to cover this part of the court as well as this part of the court. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that I'm not fully committing to this. I'm also going to give some space to be able to move in to the court like so. So they're not going to feel as comfortable as moving as far back off the line. So when you're in this position here, and you've practiced your forehand drop shot, or this can also work on the backhand too, right? But it's more difficult, but that's fine. Go for one drop shot in a match. Go for one. Once you make it, then don't go for any more, okay? Because for most people, the drop shot's quite difficult. It's a low percentage shot. So once you've gotten one, don't go. Because as soon as you miss one, now in their head, they're relieved. They're like, I'm happy now. That's an awful smiley face. I'm happy now. Because now I know that he is scared of his own drop shot, right? Don't let them think that you are scared of your own drop shot. Make one, make two, that's it. Now they're scared. This is the tactic that we want to be using with our drop shots. If you want a free mini lesson on tactics, strategies, ground strokes, techniques, whatever, jump into the link in the description. It's a Skool community. You can book a call with me and we'll have a quick chat about your tennis, about strategies, about mental strategies, anything you want. I'll see you in the next video.